God put a bow in the sky. Several years ago, our family gathered for the graduation of our nephew from high school. And the graduation was held on the school's football field. And guests and family members of the graduates sat in the bleachers, and it was so diverse. People of every race and every ethnicity were in attendance. And there was palpable relief by those present because it had been raining all morning. And now the rain was tapering off, and we were all lowering our umbrellas. And one by one, family by family, we all noticed it in the sky, as if it were placed there as a backdrop for the graduation. A rainbow, vivid and colorful, as if God were projecting it in high definition resolution. It could not be mistaken. It was there. And a few of us gay folks start to whisper that God has given us a nod. But everyone was captivated and barely paid attention as the graduation proceedings began. And they started taking out their phones. Oh, we knew it was futile, but somehow we just wanted to capture the rainbow. It was so beautiful. Now, this wasn't the first time I saw this reaction to the rainbow. You know that reaction where no matter what is going on and we see it and everyone turns their gaze to see it. It's something about the rainbow. Something about it that just stops us in our tracks. And I have seen rainbows for as long as I can remember. And I still have noticed how it has the capacity to stop all of us, no matter what our backgrounds. And we stop and look, wow, look, it's the rainbow. And although I have read about the science of the rainbow, and there's nothing like science to take the drama and the fun out of something. But I know about the science of the rainbow, but there is something about the rainbow that continues to arrest and capture. And as we read the account of Noah's encounter with God after the flood, I wonder if the rainbow is arguably the most visible reminder we have of God's revelation in nature. You know, God doesn't show up like we want him to. She doesn't offer herself in ways that makes us comfortable. And that's why I think maybe we pay attention to the rainbow. It seems to be the only thing that we connect as a revelation of God, something beautiful about it. And if the rainbow isn't a reminder of our connection of God, if it isn't somehow a sense that God is revealed, even if we don't use that language, that God is somehow revealing God's self, if it doesn't do that, then maybe it should be. Because in the aftermath of this flood that destroyed every living creature, our spiritual forebears testify that the rainbow was God's emphatic response to the chaos and destruction of a storm. That it was God's emphatic, attention-getting response to something that destroyed every living creature. Now, when we hear the Noah story, we tend to focus on the fantastic and dramatic events leading up to the God-initiated rain and flood. You know what I'm talking about. The building of a huge ark and the rustling up of animals to take into the ark 2 by 2. That's the story that we know. But in our focus there, we miss God's response. And that's where the real story is. Oh, I know you expect pastors to say that, but no, really, trust me. That's where the real nugget of the story is. Because after the rain stops and the water recedes, immediately God declares to Noah, and I want you to hear it because I'm going to read the scripture. I will never again curse the ground because of humankind, nor will I ever again destroy every living creature. How many times has the church read that to you? How many preachers have read God's emphatic promise? No obfuscating it. No, there's no technical detail there. There's no qualifying statement. There's no get out of jail clause. I will never again curse the ground because of humankind, nor will I ever again destroy every. I want you to think about this. God says, never again will I destroy every living creature. How many times have we been told that God is going to destroy us? How many times have we been presented with this mean God that will beat your butt if you don't act like we told you God told you to act? See? You see that connection there? If you don't act like we told you God told you to act. How many televangelists blame God for hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes that kill humanity? Here, God promises that God will never again destroy human life in this way. God unilaterally gives up God's right to kill. Oh, you didn't even hear what I just said. God, right just then and there, has unilaterally disarmed. I will never again kill living creatures like this. God is choosing to forgo a curse on the earth to punish humankind. And just in case Noah did not get how important this was. See, this I just read you what I said I'll never again. That was chapter 8. In chapter 9, God is still worried that Noah didn't quite get it. So God says, you know what, Noah? I told you I'm not going to kill a living creature. So just in case you think I'm just fooling you, we're going to ratify this in an everlasting covenant. You didn't hear what I said. God said, I'm not going to kill. Never again will I do it. Okay, you don't seem convinced. You're worried I'm not true to my word. All right, I'm going to ratify what I just told you in an everlasting covenant that I'm making with you and your descendants and all the generations after that. And then God could have stopped there, but no, God said, and every living creature. Oh, maybe I'm the only one that's just so excited about this. God ratifies it. And by the way, let me notice something. We've heard a lot about covenant. We talk about covenant all the time. I say it all the time. God is loyal. God has a covenant loyalty. But this isn't just the covenants we've been talking about. They were covenants with Abraham and Abraham's descendants. They were covenants with Israel. We're not Israel. It was covenant with Israel. So technically, we're trying to ride on Israel's coattails a couple of times. But anyway, this one is for all of creation. The first time. God is making a covenant with all of creation. And it is an everlasting covenant. It does not end. So this means, let me tell you what this means. In the days of future hereafter, the creation does not have to worry about God punishing the creation with destruction because of sin. Uh-oh. That's what they told us. They told us God gonna get us if we sin. Humanity will still fall short of the mark. We will still sin. Evil will still happen. Natural disasters will occur. But the creation can rest assured that it is not God who's doing it to get back at us. God is not sitting up there trying to decide who I'm going to kick today. God God is not sitting up there deciding, I'm going to destroy you because I don't have anything else better to do. God is not going to use your natural inclination to say, oh, I'm going to you in a trick now, I'm going to destroy you. That's not, God did not, He promised that God would not do that. God is no longer in the business of using evil and natural disaster or even human sin to punish the creation. So guess what that means? Hurricane Katrina was not God's punishment for sin. 9/11 was not God's punishment for sin. Hurricane Maria was not God's punishment for sin. God does not use HIV or cancer to punish people for sin. Take that and put that out of your mind. Whoever told you that was wrong and the truth ain't in them. That's not how God works. God promised the creation that that's not how God works. And then, look at God. God is so dramatic. Just dramatic. All into the symbols too, can just do it too. And just so the creation wouldn't forget, and so God will always remember, God placed a bow in the sky. I love the drama of it. God takes the symbol of a destructive weapon. We know what a bow is. A bow, especially for Israel at this time, for Noah, his family, is how you kill. And so God takes the very symbol of a weapon that can destroy and puts it in the sky and says, I'm resting my weapon. I won't use it against you again. Never again. Never again. Never again. I won't do it. I won't do it. And just so I won't forget what I told you, I'll see it and remember it. And you'll see it and remember it. And so maybe it's in that cosmic movement of the Spirit that all of us on that graduation day, something deep within the recesses of our hearts, we knew and understood that God was giving us a message. I won't do that to you again. Just the other day, I heard a comedian joking about the Noah story. He said it was BS. And I kind of agree with him, but we can talk about that later. But what is not BS is why our spiritual forebears told the story in the first place. So sometimes we got to ask, why would the people, our spiritual forebears, why would they tell the story if it's so fantastical? Again, probably because they were hoping you'd get to this part of the story when God starts talking and running God's mouth. Because God runs God's mouth right now. God, you can't stop God from talking. That's where they want us to go, because I think our spiritual forebears told us this story because they wanted us to know that God is committed to us no matter what happens. No matter what happens. Because if it's not a flood, guess what? It is an earthquake. It is a tornado. It is a terrible storm. It is addiction. It is disease. That stuff comes all the time. But what our spiritual forebears want to know, that if it comes, God is committed to us in the middle of it. God hasn't forgotten us. God is not going to leave us. Don't let anybody tell you that God is not in the picture. God is right there suffering along with you, trying to work. God is on your side, trying to get us out of it. That's what they wanted us to know. So the Noah story is not BS in that way. No, what they want us to know is that God is with us. God remembers us. God is going to be there, and God is not doing it to us when it gets bad. That's what they want us to know. So here it is. We are the beneficiaries of an everlasting covenant. We are the heirs to a promise initiated by a God who said very clearly, never again. And I hope that we internalize that. I hope we internalize that. Please internalize that. Please internalize this knowledge that God is committed to us no matter where we find ourselves, no matter how many times we've been told how horrible we are, no matter how many people have rejected us, no matter what the cancer diagnosis is, no matter what the HIV diagnosis, no matter what the tornado did to your house, no matter what the earthquake is going to do tomorrow. God is not there to tear us down. Is in it with us, carrying us through. One theologian said it so beautiful, and I got to sit down. I know I went too long on the thing. One theologian said, the beauty of this is because it shows that resting bow, that promise from God to never destroy, is that God is no longer in pursuit of an enemy. And here's what's so beautiful about it, because in this whole thing, everything that Noah went through and Noah's family, all the destruction that Noah went to, the creation is still falls short of what God requires. We still fall short of what God requires. We don't change. We haven't changed. We've killed. We've been wrong. We've done it to each other. Creation doesn't change. Storms come. They keep coming. They're going to keep coming. But it was God who changed. Oh, I know we don't hear that enough either. Because before the flood, God said, I'm so mad at you, I'm going to destroy you. And then after the flood, God said, you know what? I don't care how mad I get you, I'll never do it again. God changed. And if that doesn't show how committed God is to us, I don't know what does. This is a powerful witness to God's grace that we don't hear often enough. This also makes me wonder what Gilbert Baker had in mind when he came up with the rainbow flag as a symbol of pride for LGBTQ people. There is no indication that Gilbert Baker had any religious or theological intent in his idea about the rainbow flag. But I wonder if there's something in the idea of the rainbow as a sign of God's covenant that found its way in Baker's moment of imaginative creation. Heaven knows the idea of God's everlasting covenant is a powerful faith, is a powerful thing that we've hung on to, especially in the LGBTQ community. During the violence and rejection we've experienced, during the worst days of the AIDS epidemic, during our push for human and civil rights, I don't think we ever gave up believing that we were God's beloved. And I think that's because we took seriously God's commitment even to us when they said it wasn't so. Remember it. I hope we remember God's promise. I hope that in the days of the future hereafter, no matter what comes against us individually or us as all God's children, that we remember that God is rooting for us. God is on our side. God is committed to us. It's enough of us tearing each other down. Why do we need God to join in on the fun? Remember. So the next time you see the rainbow, I hope you remember. Enjoy how beautiful it is. But remember God's promise. Amen.